Hello, and thank you for tuning into my website called Advocating for School Bullying Preventions, Interventions, Policies, and Laws. Um, before I get into it even further, the reason why I specifically chose this topic is because October is Bullying Prevention Month, and I know this month is quickly ending, but I wanted to bring more awareness to it. And when I was a student, I was one of those kiddos being bullied, and it really affected me in many ways. And I didn't really know who to talk to. I didn't go to a counselor or social worker, and I think that would have been really beneficial. So I hope someday that I can be that school social worker that students will feel comfortable to come to me if they're ever experiencing bullying. So the concerning issue, I won't read all of this, but I'll start off with saying some statistics that 1 out of every 5 students report being bullied, and bully victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide than non-victims. And I recently watched a Dr. Phil show where these students were bullied to death. Basically, they were being bullied and they were just tired of it, and they ended up dying by suicide. And so Dr. Phil ended up stating in that episode that bullying is an epidemic. And I 100% agree that it's becoming more of a concern than people really know. Um, so, bullying causes physical, mental, and emotional challenges, and it is targeted for many things through race, sex, gender identity, religion, physical and mental disabilities, parental status, family, financial status, and many other reasonings that can affect the student's mental health, academics, relationships, etc., etc. So, there are a lot of policies out there for schools to protect their students, specifically for bullying, and there's others too. Um, and so I was going to read some of, like, or not all, like, read all of the policy, but like summarize some of these. But due to time, I won't do that. But feel free to click on any of the links in this website. It'll go lead you to a redirect page or something like that, and you just click on the actual link and it will take you there because I've tried. So feel free to do that. I know it's not in Minnesota where most of you are from, um, but that's where I'm from, and I know it's still very beneficial to have in schools. So there are many different types of bullying, and again, I was going to describe some of these, but I think a lot of it is common sense just by looking at the picture, or maybe from us interning or working in the school, we might just know this on the top of our heads, or we might just know. So there are many different types of bullying, as I stated before. There are bad practices and good practices um, for for bullying policies and preventions and interventions and as a whole. So, like for bad practices, they're like zero tolerance policy doesn't always work, and short term solutions don't always work, especially since you can't dive into a lot of the information. Group treatment, just because it depends if it's for specifically bullies, they might end up thinking it's a joke, and they may end up teaming up and creating more of a conflict. Lack of education, I think that's a big one. But good practices in some schools, they do provide policies and laws, interventions, and preventions. They may even intervene and use the bystander approach, which also should be something that teachers need to learn, especially like as I put, like training educators, because more and more and more is becoming an issue. So we need to like put a stop to it. So how do we do that? By stepping in by being a bystander. Um, so this is my internship, Dimick Consolidated Elementary School, also known as Dimick Braves. If you click on the link, it will lead you to this bottom one, the parent resources specifically. It will lead you to different resources that will help look into different policies of how we protect our students. And so, like their motto says, is where children come first. So we really want to protect them and make sure we are abiding by these policies and rules and interventions to ensure safety before it becomes a bigger matter. And so also some of the policies that if you look into that, some of them do requires, well, in Illinois at least, they do require schools to provide those resources, and to talk about how they handle policy on their page. So there are different preventions and interventions. Brave Up is one that I think should be implemented in schools, even at my internship, because it really focuses on preventing wow, I'm talking fast so I can get done. Sorry. Microaggressions, bullying, and cyberbullying. And it provides different like resource content, and they really target their audience, like students, with like different challenges and whether it's like for like specifically bullying or other life stressors. Also, what I thought was cool is that they provide an anonymous reporting, which I think I would have been very beneficial to, um, because I think it just would have been nice to go to someone through an anonymous way, I guess, without students really knowing that I went to tell someone that I was being bullied, creating a bigger problem. So just I think that's a safer way for students to feel comfortable and to speak up a little bit more. Um, and it also collects student data and especially through surveys. So then like the staff, like counselors and social workers, can tell if the program, the software is being used in a helpful way or if it's not helping at all. And there is a subscription and account that is required, but I think it probably might be worth it. Multi-tier intervention. I won't get into this one because I went over it with my classmates in my other class. But as I saw it, I thought it was more of a behavioral wise, um, as it says on the side, behavioral intervention tiers. But when I was looking in researching, I found that it also can really get into bullying as well. So you can read off to the side like how that might work for bullying. And then just some other intervention tools like school-wide programs, poster bulletin boards, dare. So I don't know if in Minnesota they do like dare in schools. It's like more so to prevent like drugs and violence. But um but they do also have like little side activities and lessons about like bullying and social emotional skills and other tools to help students. And then parent involvement, I think that's a huge one. I think parents nowadays don't care, and I think that can really affect the situations on bullying. If a parent doesn't know that their student is being bullied, it can lead to suicide and other harmful things. So I think the more that parents are involved, it definitely could help. So if there are any questions, you can email me or you can personally directly message me. Um, and then I challenge you to take the pledge and say no to bullying. So you can click on the link and take the pledge. Even if you don't work in the school or intern in the school or don't even think you want to work with children someday, I think it's still very beneficial to understand bullying because even as adults, we get bullied. And so I challenge you to take the pledge and I hope you somewhat got a lot out of this. I probably could have talked a lot more, but anyways, thank you for looking at my website.